So before we jump in, we first have to talk about the why behind detoxing. We have to understand why we're making these changes and why we're wanting to pursue a healthier lifestyle. Now, we're going to talk a lot about different chemicals, different toxins that you may be exposed to in your own home. And we'll talk about the reasons why we need to get those things out of our home, because we want to avoid things like sickness and disease, cancer, heart disease, common things in our society today that are actually caused by environmental issues. Now, I want to make sure that we have the right mindset about this, because you may be sitting there thinking, well, I don't have sicknesses. I'm not currently dealing with any diseases. So why should I detox my home? The reason is because when it comes to toxins and chemicals, those things are building. So it's really the small things that accumulate over the course of a lifetime that cause the biggest problems. So when we're talking about detoxing our homes, it really is a proactive approach to our health. Instead of being reactive and waiting until we have these sicknesses and diseases, we can take action on the front end. The way I think about it is that you can choose to make small lifestyle changes today, or eventually you're going to be forced to make bigger, probably more expensive changes in response to a health emergency later. So you get the opportunity to be proactive and choose health for yourself and for your family.
And talk to us also about bioaccumulation, because I know sometimes moms or adults fail to put themselves first or do hard things for themselves, but it even has a generational effect, right?
Yes, absolutely. I'm glad that you brought that up, because a lot of people don't consider that until they do want to have a family or they do start to have children. The things that build up in your body and in your cells, those are things that can affect your DNA, and that is what you pass on to future generations. So there have been multiple studies done that have shown even toxic chemicals can be found in the blood that's passed from a mother to a baby. So babies are already coming into this world with toxic exposure, which will then set them up for things like sickness and disease. But the good news is that it doesn't have to be that way. You can take action now to clean up your environment, to clean up your body, and then create generations of health to come.
Yes, and I always found that motivating too, because oftentimes we as adults can say, well, it might cost something to change what I use to clean my home, or to change what I use to cook, or to filter the air in my home. And yes, there might be a cost to that, but it is a bargain, considering that your lifestyle choices can affect up to 7 generations, can be choices that you're making for your grandchildren and great-grandchildren. So another common objection that we get is, why does it matter? We can't control it. We're going to go to the mall. We're exposed to toxins there. We won't be able to control that. We have to bring things into our home, sometimes to support necessary things. We can't control that. And the answer is, your body is built to adapt. And that's the good news. So we don't need to fear toxins. It's not meant to fear toxicity or poison, because your body is built to adapt. So this represents your body's ability to detox. And you'll notice that there's holes in the cup, and the detox pathways are allowing you to be exposed to some toxicity, but still your body deal with it. In today's world, you're exposed to poor air quality, you're exposed to EMFs, you're exposed to pesticides in your food, and your body's dealing with it and it's coming out. But there's just so much day in and day out, and the tens of thousands have been added. And this is when you get into problems, when it starts to overflow and it can no longer deal with it. Now that represents, now we're into disease process, because your body could not detox as quickly as it's being exposed to the level of toxins in our world. With the sheer volume of toxins that you are exposed to, your cup begins to overflow. And then even more, if these holes get clogged because of the disease process, the toxicity starts to go overflowing even sooner. So the message is, friends, that your body can adapt. It does deal with the toxins you're exposed to, but if we can minimize the number, then we give our body a better chance of dealing with the toxins before we ever have any problems.
And that's why we're so intentional with the language of saying minimizing toxins, because In reality, there's no way that we're going to completely eliminate toxins from our environment, but there are so many different things that we can do to unplug these holes so that even though we are exposed to these toxins day in and day out, our bodies are better able to adapt and to heal, and they can do the job that they were innately designed to do. See, when we remove that interference from our body's natural ability to detox, that's when we can truly be healthy.